Today we're looking at comparing functions, and our learning target is I can use tables, graphs, and equations to compare functions. Your supplies that you will need are your Encore book and graph paper. If you are using your Encore book, you don't have to print these notes. You can just write in your book. I'm following along on page 53, section 2.6. So if you have your book and you're allowed to write in it, you bought the book, then you can just follow along in here and I will stamp this instead of your notes page. So before we get started, let's look at some simple examples of comparison. And this is going to bring you all the way back to 3rd grade when you had to compare numbers. So which one is greater, 10 or 2? Well, 10 is greater. That's easy. 10 is bigger than 2, so 10 is greater. Which one is greater here, the slope of 3 or the slope of 1/3? Well, the slope of 3 is bigger than the slope of 1/3. What about these unit rates? These are unit rates because it's miles per 1 hour, miles per hour. So 70 miles per hour or 50 miles an hour. Which one's faster? Well, 70 miles an hour. So if you can think of the lesson that we're about to learn in simple terms like this, you'll be just fine. So just remember, we're just comparing, but we're using a different method of comparison than what we've been used to up here before. All right, so this is on page 53. This is Explore number 1. And the words say, the table and graph show how many words Morgan and Brian typed correctly on a typing test. For both students, the relationship between words typed correctly and time is linear. So that means that they have a unit rate. So this chart that I typed in here is for Morgan. And for Morgan, it's time and words. Time is X, words is Y. And it shows here that for 2 minutes she did 30 words. In 4 minutes she did 60, 6, 90, 8, 120, and 10, 150. So the first part that it asks you to do is section A, find Morgan's unit rate. Her unit rate, see this root word or this part of the word right here, it's UN or uni, it means 1. So we have to find how much she types in 1 minute. So just look at this. Here's 30 words in 2 minutes. How much does she do in 1 minute? Well, you can just do 30 divided by 2, and you can probably tell just by looking at it what it is, but it will be 15. So she does 15 words for 1 minute. Okay, so you can write it like that, or you can just write out 15 words per minute, your choice. And now it's asking us to find Brian's unit rate, but they didn't give us one of these handy charts for Brian. They gave us a graph, and if you look on page 53, his graph looks something like this. And this is his time is down here, and his words per minute are over here. And so go ahead and go to the first one. When they give you a graph, it's really easy to find out. You look at number 1 and you see where the line hits, the graphed line hits on the y-axis. And for this one, you can see that it's 1 and 20. So this point right here represents 120. 120. All right, so this is the point, and this signifies that he types 20 words in 1 minute because it hits right here at 120. So you can write 20 words for 1 minute. All right, and then question C is just a very simple comparison question, just like what we did to open up the lesson. Which student types more correct words per minute? Well, which one's greater, 15 words or 20 words? 20 words is greater, so the answer is Brian. That's it, very simple. Then there are 3 reflect questions on page 53, and for your practice, I'm asking you to complete those. If you are not following along in your book, please turn to that page and write the answers on the back of this page, so that way I can stamp it and make sure that you did them. So there's 3 questions, 1A, B, and C. And it's all talking about the typing the typing problem that we just finished. So go ahead and write the answers in your book if you paid for it. If not, write it on the back of this paper. Pause the video now and then come back for the second example problem. All right, and then here is our second example. And our second example comes from page 54. And the problem says Josh and Maggie buy MP3 files from different music download services. With both services, the monthly charge is a linear function of the number of songs downloaded. The cost at Josh's service is described by y equals 0.5x plus 10, where y is the cost in dollars and x is the number of songs downloaded. Don't let all of those words scare you. We're going to break it down. And then it also gives you a chart for Maggie's cost. So I put that chart here so you can follow along with this. And then I made you a chart for Josh so that way we can fill in this chart together. Okay, so basically let's just recap and figure out what was the formula for Josh again. It was y equals 0.50 if you want. I don't like to add extra zeros. 0.5x plus 10. Okay, so there we go. And then we need to figure out, the first thing it says on question A is find the unit rate of each function for Josh and for Maggie. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is to find the unit rate for both Josh and for Maggie. And remember that the unit rate for functions is the same thing as slope, or m. And you can write either slope or m, it's your choice. But that's just going to help you be able to figure out these problems. And then in case you've been at all confused, the slope, we find the slope by choosing any 2 points on a coordinate plane or in a table, and we choose the y, and we subtract a y from y, y1 from y2, all over x1 minus x2. Okay, so that's just if you've been confused. Otherwise, you should already know that. And these little 2's and 1's just represent the order that you're choosing your coordinates. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab Josh's formula. His formula is y equals 0.5. Okay, so the formula is y equals 0.5x plus 10. Sorry, there shouldn't be 3 lines here. And then just remember that this $10, it doesn't clearly state it in the directions, but this $10 is a monthly service fee. And I apologize that it doesn't clearly state that in the directions, but just know that it is. It's a monthly service fee for downloading songs. So we want to find out the songs are going to be X and the cost is going to be Y. And we need to find the unit rate for both Josh and Maggie. So let's start and let's just plug in a number. Let's do 1 and let's do 2 just to make it simple. So go ahead and plug 1 in for X and then plug 2 in for X and see what you get. If you know how to do this, feel free to go ahead of me, pause the video and just move on. If not, please follow along with me now. So we are going to plug 1 in for x, so we do 0.5x, 0.5 times 1, which is just 0.5. Okay, so it's 0.5 times 1 plus 10. I just plugged the 1 from here into my equation, and I could have chosen any number, but I just chose 1 to keep it simple. So 0.5 times 1 is 0.5. Add that to 10 and you get 10.5. All right, so I have 10.5 as my answer, and then I wrote that in my table as well. So I've got songs, for one song it's $10.50, and that includes that monthly service fee. And then for 2 songs, well, now I'm just going to take 2 and plug that in for X. All right, so I plugged it in blue into my equation, so I did 0.5 times 2 plus 10, When I do 0.5 times 2, that's going to get me 1. And then 1 plus 10 is just 11. So 1 plus 10 is 11. And then I took that 11 and I wrote it into my XY table now up here. So now I've got for one song, it was 1050. For two songs, it was 11. You can go ahead and choose a third value for X and see what you get for Y. You can choose any number at all. And then I need some more space to work here, so I'm just going to erase our previous work. You can rewind the video if you still needed to copy that down. And then what we're asked to do is find the unit rate. So now that we've got some data, we can find the unit rate by using our formula, difference of the y's over difference of the x's, to find out what our slope is going to be for Josh. So I'm going to plug in these numbers into this equation right here, and you can go ahead and do the same. Okay, so I plugged this in. I did this coordinate first, 11 and 2 and 10 and a half and 1. And I did the difference of my y's over difference of my x's. These are my y's, these are my x's. I'm using this formula right here in case you didn't follow along. So 11 take away 10.5, well, I can write that out, or I actually just know that that is 0.5 over 2 minus 1 is 1. So now I've got 0.5 over 1, which is perfect. I just needed to find my unit rate. And remember, my unit rate is my slope. That's all I needed. So for Josh, he pays 50 cents a song. That's basically what this is saying. 50 cents for one song. Okay, and then it's asking us to do the same thing for Maggie. Maggie has a little bit of different numbers, but we're going to do the same exact formula to find the slope. And so let's go ahead and choose some coordinates. I am going to actually choose this one and this one. All right, so you can choose any coordinates and you would have the same answer. So this, I'm going to make this my first coordinate and this my second one. Again, you can do either way and you'll still get the same answer. So my y from this first coordinate is 1980, so 19.8. And I'm subtracting my y from the second coordinate, which is 9.9. And then I need to put all of this over my x's, and whichever coordinate I used first for the y's, I have to use first for my x's. So I'm going to do 20 take away 10, and then I just need to solve. So 19.8 take away 9.9 is actually 9.9. So 9.9, and all of this is over 20 take away 10 is 10. Well, if I'm dividing by 10, I need to move my decimal over one place right here. So 0.99 is basically 99 cents, and that's how much Maggie is paying for one song. She pays 99 cents for one song. Okay? Then we need to look at the next question in our book, which is question C. And question C says, which student, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. It says, which function, it's actually B, I'm sorry. It says, which function has the greater rate of change? And what does that mean in this context? So rate of change is slope. So which one has the greater slope? Is it 0.99 or 0.5? Well, again, remember our simple comparisons. 0.99 is bigger, so Maggie's rate of change, or Maggie's slope, is bigger. She pays more per song. Okay, so we are out of time for today for this video. Do not worry about finishing page 54. We will finish that in class. And then be prepared to show me your notes that you've completed for this lesson and the previous lesson. And then we will finish the rest of this in class. All right, so take care, and I will see you very soon.